Hello and welcome back to the Patriot Dad channel, where we can discuss current events and modern issues, all while keeping it as real as possible. Guys, it has been a while since I made an actual video. Mostly I've just been doing my evening and weekly update live streams, so feel free to join me over there. You can check out my website at patriotdad.org. You can also find me mostly over on X, and you can see that right here. You can go to my website, patriotdad.org. That has links to all of the ways that you can support the channel, as well as merch and other things. You can join the Patriot Dad family community over on X. You can also leave me tips. Many other ways that you can support the community, guys. Go ahead, head on over to X, head on over to Rumble, head on over to YouTube. Support me wherever you see fit, but any and all support is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much and welcome back. Now, today I just wanted to have a quick discussion. In the news has been a lot of fraud, both in the government, in states, by immigrant communities, by all kinds of people. And I've had my own run-in with some financial difficulties, and I think a lot of you out there are experiencing some financial hardships. So let's just have a quick talk about it, shall we? Because it's a little bit frustrating being a veteran, being a U.S. citizen, to be struggling to pay bills month to month, and to be able to not get any assistance. Meanwhile, you see people taking advantage of the system. Now, I'm not the only one that has a right to complain, guys. I'm not really even complaining about it as much as I'm trying to shine a light on a problem that is causing a lot of friction and frustration. Now, there are other people that also deserve to be able to have a voice. As Gunther here points out, let's not forget that FEMA was spending $59 million on luxury New York City hotels for illegals, while nearly kicking 3,000 Helene survivors out of hotels in freezing North Carolina winters. Americans were last under Joe Biden. Now, Matt Van Swal, a fairly infamous resident there in North Carolina, says, "I'll never forget." Also, welcome to the Not Left, Matt. He said, "I didn't want to believe it was real, that the government could put tens of millions into luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, but refused to take care of its own. I finally began to understand exactly what America First actually meant that day." Guys, we see too much of this. We see too much of illegals and other people being prioritized over U.S. citizens, over people that actually need the help here. And that, what do we see? We see these communities that are committing fraud just wantonly in mass. And we have a couple of schemes that they've uncovered, but this one is huge. We'll talk about this one right now. This is Mario. This is a Somali-run fraud scheme in Ohio, where EBT cards funnel taxpayer money straight into family-owned restaurants. It says a wild scam going down in Columbus, Ohio. That's straight out of a movie. Somali families own a restaurant, a grocery store right next door, sometimes literally attached, and usually a daycare or home health business too. The wives and kids get loaded EBT cards. Instead of going to Kroger or Walmart, they shop at their own family grocery store with those cards. All that food walks tens of feet into the restaurant's kitchens. Boom, free inventory for a restaurant paid 100% by taxpayers. The grocery store reports giant losses every year. Perfect tax write-off, so Uncle Sam gets screwed twice. Some families often run daycare and home health companies that are also pulling in government cash. The women work part-time in places like Walmart for minimum wage to keep their income low on paper, so they still qualify for maximum benefits, even though the household is pulling in way more. The average Somali household in Columbus has 7 kids. That's a mountain of monthly EBT and welfare money. Back in 2020, the feds already busted one Somali market in Columbus for pocketing over $10 million in fake EBT and WIC charges. Minnesota lost $250 million to the exact same playbook. The locals are pissed. Guys, it's not just the locals that are pissed. It's people like me, American families, veterans, citizens, hardworking people that are barely able to make ends meet. And then we turn around and we see this, stories of more and more and more fraud, where tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars of taxpayer money, that's my money, that's your money, are being funneled to criminals who have no business being here in the first place, especially when they're going to defraud the public to enrich themselves. Like, At what point is enough enough? And on top of all that, we also now got this story from Mario that says dead people also got federal housing aid, and Colorado's just the start. Trump administration is now investigating Colorado after a brutal audit by the Department of Housing and Urban Development exposed that hundreds of dead people somehow receive federal housing assistance. Yes, that's right. Dead people still on the government's payroll. The issue spans most of Colorado's 59 PHAs with concentrations in the Denver Housing Authority. Big surprise there, guys. Big surprise that it's the big blue city that has so much more fraud. But HUD provides $440 million annually to Colorado PHAs, overseeing 38,000 units. The audit found at least 221 deceased individuals were given taxpayer-funded housing aid, but it doesn't stop there, as reports state that nearly 3,000 cases may involve fraud tied to shady providers. And you better believe if it's happening in Colorado, it's probably happening everywhere. Blue state bureaucracy rubber stamps checks without blinking. This isn't just waste, it's systemic theft. And the feds are finally digging into it. Billions go missing. Real people can't get help. We're out here paying rent for corpses. Do you want to tell me how it is that a citizen can't get help to try and stay out of bankruptcy, to try and prevent being homeless? A veteran can't get assistance because of IRS rules, because of Fannie Mae selling guidelines, because of so many other random pieces of red tape and bureaucracy. A citizen, a veteran, can't get help. Guys, I was in a very precarious position. Thankfully, I was able to secure alternate financing, but I was at my wit's end. I am trying to sell a property. That property, the carrying costs, I've been carrying since August. It is just shy of $3,000 a month because nobody rented it. Look, I get it. The rental market's a little light right now. So I was covering those costs. Now I need to sell it because I can't afford to carry those costs anymore. So I go to sell it. Well, turns out with the economy the way that it is right now, I can't get everything back that I owe. So when you sell a home and it goes to closing, one thing that you'll learn is that you have to make right all of the loans and the debt against that property at the time of closing, which means if you owe more money than you are getting, you have to bring money to closing in order to complete that transaction. So to get out from the crippling carrying costs of my property, I needed to bring a little over $10,000 to the closing. Now, remember, I've been losing $3,000 a month since August, and here it is in December. So August, September, October, November, and I've already paid December. So that's 5 months. That is now $15,000 that I've paid, and I now have to bring another $10,000 to closing. Well, I don't have that money myself. So I said, hey, I need to borrow some money for my 401k. That should be able to do it, right? This is a hardship. I will go bankrupt. My kids and I will be homeless. It'll be great, right? So that sounds like a hardship to me. Well, so here's a little Grok article about it, but I ran into some issues. My 401k plan would not let me make a hardship withdrawal. The main reason is this statement right here. You are allowed to make a hardship withdrawal if it is to prevent an eviction or a foreclosure. Now, my current residence that I am renting from a family member. Great. I'm not getting evicted from this place right now, so I can't make a withdrawal. I've already moved out of my old residence. It is no longer my primary residence, so I'm trying to sell it. But because it's not my primary residence and I'm not under an eviction, I don't qualify for a hardship withdrawal. Great. So you said, well, let me take a personal loan because it makes more sense from a debt perspective for me to borrow $10,000 as a personal loan now, even at higher interest, to get out from under that loan. So then I go, hey, bank, loan me money. And the bank says, I'm sorry, under Fannie Mae selling guidelines, their funding rules, lenders adhering to Fannie Mae standards do not accept such borrowed funds as a valid source of closing costs, down payment, or reserves. It must be part of the borrower's own verified assets or other approved sources. So somebody could give me, which is a taxable event, $10,000. Well, no, but I can't borrow it, right? I want to do the right legal thing. I want to borrow it. Well, Fannie Mae selling and borrowing guidelines don't allow me to do that. So when I go to a bank and I ask to borrow money and they say, what's it for? And I say, I really need to get out of this loan and sell this property so that I don't go homeless, so I don't go bankrupt, so my kids aren't without a place to live. they say, I'm sorry, can't help you. And they wonder why people are so frustrated right now. Guys, this kind of thing, when we see the fraud happening by illegals and the money being funneled by NGOs to illegals and people who have no business being here in the first place, and then a citizen, veteran, cannot get help because of government rules, why are there more restrictive government rules against me getting help as a citizen, single parent, veteran, whatever you want to add to that? Why are there more rules against me being helped than there are against an illegal alien getting help? Why is there more enforcement of policy against me than there is against a criminal alien who is defrauding the public? Maybe that's just a conversation that we need to have. Thank you, everyone. This isn't a very long video this time, but you know what? It was a topic that was very near to my heart right now. Like I said, I was able to secure some alternate financing for that. So I've completed my part of the closing. Hopefully the buyers complete their side. They delayed it. Pray for it, I guess. Because, guys, even though the economy is not that bad, like personally, things are not great. So I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep going to work. I'm going to keep doing the things that I need to do to make sure that my kids have a home to live in. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care of yourselves, and God bless. Go ahead and check out one of the links on the screen now to either subscribe to the channel and see the rest of the videos of the channel, or one of the carefully selected videos that you may wish to see that YouTube has used its algorithm to select for you.